Right now, before you do anything else, I want you to press your thumb into the front of your shin, about 4 inches above your ankle. Press hard. Hold it there for 10 seconds. Now lift your thumb and look at your skin. Do you see that dent? That crater where your thumb just was? Watch it. Is it still there? Is it slowly filling back in like memory foam that's lost its spring? If that dent is taking more than 5 seconds to disappear, what you're looking at is somewhere between half a liter and a full liter of water that's been quietly collecting in your lower legs while you went about your day. And here's what almost nobody over 60 has been told. That water is about to move. Tonight, when you lie down, it's going to shift from your ankles into your bloodstream, flood your heart with unexpected volume, wake you up at 2 in the morning and again at 4 to urinate, and make tomorrow harder than it needed to be. And the reason this keeps happening has nothing to do with your heart, nothing to do with salt, and everything to do with the one organ system that doesn't have a pump. Stay with me, because I'm about to show you exactly what's happening inside that ankle right now, and the 15-minute routine that drains it before bed so your body doesn't have to scramble all night trying to fix what should have been handled while you were awake. You know exactly what I'm talking about. You've lived it. You wake up, you look at your ankles, they look normal, maybe even thin. You think, okay, today's better. Then you go through your day. Breakfast at the table, sitting. Drive to the grocery store, sitting. Coffee with a friend, sitting. Home for lunch, more sitting. Maybe you walk a little, but mostly you're upright and still. By 3 in the afternoon, you stand up and you feel it, that heaviness. You look down and your ankles are thicker. The skin looks tight. You press your finger in and that little dent appears and it just sits there, staring back at you like a tiny moon crater on your shin. You get home, you take off your shoes, and there it is, the ring. The indent where your sock elastic sat all day, pressed into your calf like it was made of clay. You peel off your socks and the mark stays. 10 seconds, 20 seconds, sometimes a full minute before your skin remembers what shape it's supposed to be. And when you mention this to your doctor, what happens? You get a lecture about salt. You get asked if you're eating chips, if you're overdoing the seasoning. You're handed a prescription for a diuretic, a water pill, and you're told it'll help. So you take it. And for the next 6 months, you run to the bathroom every hour and a half like clockwork, and your ankles? Still swollen. Maybe slightly better on a good day, but mostly the same. Because here's what nobody explained. That water was never in your bloodstream to begin with. A diuretic can only pull water out of blood. It can't touch the water that's already sitting in your tissues, pooled quietly in the spaces between your cells, saturating the matrix of your lower leg like a sponge that nobody's wringing out. You've been treating the wrong compartment this whole time. If you're watching this and you recognize yourself in what I just described, do me a favor right now. Hit the like button and drop a comment telling me where you're watching from. What city? What country? I want to see how far this information is reaching, because what I'm about to explain is something most people only learn after years of frustration, and you're about to get it in the next 10 minutes. Let me tell you what's actually going on inside your body. You have 2 drainage systems, not one. Everybody knows about the first one, blood. Your heart pumps fresh blood out through arteries, used blood comes back through veins. That system has a motor. It runs automatically every second of your life, whether you help it or not. The second system is called your lymphatic system, and this is the part nobody sat you down and explained. It has no pump. None. Zero. Your lymph is a clear, yellowish fluid that constantly leaks out of the tiniest blood vessels in your body, bathes every cell, picks up waste, picks up excess protein, picks up bacteria, picks up water, and then has to be returned to your bloodstream through a completely separate set of vessels. 2 liters of it, every single day. But here's the problem. Those lymph vessels, they don't have a heart attached to them. They only move when you move. Think of your lymphatic system like a conveyor belt at the grocery store. It only runs when someone's putting pressure on it. Every step you take, every time your calf muscle contracts, every time you flex your ankle, you're squeezing those lymph vessels and pushing fluid upward, back toward your heart. Stop moving, the belt stops. Sit for 3 hours and that belt doesn't just slow down, it stops completely. The fluid just pools. It sits in your ankles doing absolutely nothing. Now when you're 30 years old, this isn't a big deal. Your lymph vessels are elastic, the tiny valves inside them are tight and crisp. One walk across the room and the whole system kicks back on. But after 60, 3 things happen at the same time. 1, the lymph vessels stiffen. 2, the valves inside them start to leak. And 3, the connective tissue around your ankles, the stuff that holds everything in place, starts to lose its own bounce. So now fluid leaks out faster than before, and the system drains it slower than before. The math stops working. The reservoir starts to grow. And that's what you're seeing when you look at your ankles at 9 o'clock at night. Before I go any further, I need to draw a hard line. There are a few situations where swollen ankles are not a lymph problem and are a genuine emergency. You need to recognize these and get help today, not next week. If one leg suddenly swells way more than the other within hours, and it's painful and hot and red, that can be a blood clot. That's dangerous. Go now. If both legs are swelling and you're having trouble breathing, especially when you lie flat, if you wake up gasping, if you can't make it up a flight of stairs without stopping, that's your heart struggling past the point where you manage it at home. You need to be seen. If you're gaining weight fast, 4 or 5 pounds in a week, and your urine looks foamy, that's your kidneys letting protein escape. You need blood work this week. And if the swelling is only on one side, hard to the touch, painless, and you've had cancer treatment in that area, that's a lymph node blockage that needs evaluation. If none of those describe you, if your swelling is gradual, both legs, worse by evening, better by morning, no trouble breathing when you're sitting still, then what I'm about to walk you through is exactly for you. There are basically 3 types of chronic leg swelling after 60. They look almost identical to your eye, but the causes are completely different. Type 1 is venous. Your veins are struggling. The valves inside your leg veins have failed. Blood pools, pressure builds, and water gets forced out through the vessel walls into the tissue. You'll usually see visible varicose veins, a brownish stain on your shin right above the ankle, and the swelling gets dramatically worse if you've been standing all day. Type 2 is lymphatic, and this is the one we're focused on today. Lymph flow has slowed down, the tissue is soaked, the swelling is soft, leaves a pit when you press it, and it often involves the top of your foot, that part right behind your toes. When this has been going on for years, the skin on top of your foot gets so thick you can't even pinch it. That's a clinical sign, and it points directly at lymph. Type 3 is cardiac or renal, heart or kidneys. Your body isn't managing total fluid volume anymore. The swelling is symmetric, worse through the day, and critically, you have other symptoms. Shortness of breath, waking up constantly to pee, crushing fatigue, rapid weight gain. If that's you, this isn't something you fix at home. You need a full workup. Most people over 60 with evening ankle swelling and no other red flags fall into type 2. Lymph. Let me tell you about someone I worked with. 68 years old, retired teacher, lived in the same house for 30 years. Came in absolutely convinced her heart was failing. Her story was this. For 2 years, her ankles had been getting thicker every evening. At first just a little, then enough that she couldn't wear the shoes she'd worn for a decade. She bought wider shoes. The swelling got worse. She mentioned it at a routine visit. They did an echocardiogram, an ultrasound of her heart. Heart looked perfect. Ejection fraction, the percentage of blood the heart pumps out with each beat, was 62%, completely normal, but she was still swelling. So they gave her a diuretic. She took it for 6 months. She ran to the bathroom constantly. The swelling barely changed. She was exhausted, dehydrated, and still puffy. Then she said one sentence that unlocked everything. The weird thing is, when I travel and I'm walking around all day, my ankles actually look better. That was the clue. Movement made it better. Sitting made it worse. Heart was fine. Kidneys were fine. Veins showed only minor age-related changes on ultrasound. What she had was pure lymphatic drainage failure, and no pill on earth was going to fix it, because the water wasn't in her blood, it was in her tissues. Here's what happens to her body every day, and probably yours. She wakes up. Ankles look thin. She's been lying flat for 8 hours. Gravity hasn't been pulling fluid down into her legs, and her lymph system had all night to mostly clear yesterday's backlog. By morning, she's almost back to baseline. She gets up. Breakfast at the kitchen table, sitting for an hour. Car ride, 20 minutes sitting. Volunteer work at the library, 3 hours mostly sitting. Lunch, sitting. Errands, a little walking but mostly standing still in lines. By 2 in the afternoon, she's been upright but mostly immobile for 7 hours. Fluid has been slowly leaking from the tiny capillaries in her legs into the surrounding tissue the entire time. Drip, 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 a teaspoon at a time. Her calf muscles have barely contracted. The lymph conveyor belt has barely moved. The water just accumulates, invisible, into a reservoir she can't see. By evening, The groove appears where her sock sat. By 9, her ring feels tight. By 10, she lies down to sleep. And now the real problem starts. All that fluid in her ankles, now that gravity's not pulling it down anymore, begins to slowly move back into her bloodstream. Her heart gets an unexpected surge of volume. Her kidneys detect the flood and kick into overdrive, making urine. She wakes up at 2 in the morning, again at 4, again at 5:30. By 6, she's exhausted. The cycle starts over. 2 tests. Do them right now. Takes 30 seconds total. Test 1, the pit test. Find the bony ridge on the front of your shin, about 4 inches above your ankle. Press your thumb in firmly and hold it for 15 seconds. Lift your thumb and look. If there's a visible dent that takes 10 seconds or more to smooth out, you have what's called pitting edema. There are grades. Grade 1 is a slight dent. Grade 2 is deeper and lasts longer. Grade 3 is a deep crater that lasts over a minute. Make a mental note of your grade. You're going to retest this in 2 weeks, and the difference will be measurable. Test 2, the foot skin pinch. Try to pinch the skin on the top of your foot, right behind your second toe, between your thumb and forefinger. If you can easily lift the skin into a fold, your lymph is moving. If you can't lift the skin at all, if it feels like it's glued to the bone underneath, you've got advanced lymphatic saturation. That's called a positive stemmer sign, and it's one of the simplest indicators of chronic lymph congestion that exists. Now let me tell you 3 things that make lymph swelling worse. Most people over 60 do all 3 every single day without realizing it. Number 1, hidden sodium. Not the salt shaker, the hidden stuff. Cheese, deli meat, canned soup, bread, ketchup, restaurant food, frozen dinners. Sodium pulls water out of your bloodstream and into your tissues. Your body holds on to about 4 cups of water for every extra gram of sodium. Most people over 60 are eating twice the sodium they think they are. Number 2, sitting after dinner. Those hours between 7 and 10 at night when you finally relax in your chair, those are the hours when your legs are pulling in the most fluid. 3 hours of sitting after your biggest meal of the day creates the absolute worst conditions for overnight drainage. Number 3, alcohol. A single glass of wine in the evening dilates your capillaries, increases how much fluid leaks into your tissues, and shuts down the hormone your brain uses to tell your kidneys to slow down at night. 1 drink, and your ankles will be noticeably worse by morning. Now the other side. Things that help. Water. This sounds backwards, I know. Most people with swelling drink less because they think more water means more swelling. It's the opposite. Dehydration makes your lymph thick and sluggish. A well-hydrated body has thin, free-flowing lymph. Aim for about half your body weight in ounces, spread through the day, and taper off after 5 in the afternoon. Foods high in natural flavonoids. These are compounds that strengthen the walls of your tiny blood vessels so they don't leak as much. Best sources are dark berries, buckwheat, citrus peel, red cabbage. A cup of berries a day has measurable effects on your capillary walls over about 8 weeks. Protein. This surprises people. Low blood protein, specifically low albumin, is one of the hidden drivers of tissue swelling in older adults. Albumin is the protein that holds water inside your blood vessels. When it's low, water leaks out and just sits in your tissues. A lot of older adults are mildly protein deficient and don't know it. 2 servings of high-quality protein per day, eggs, fish, chicken, lentils, cottage cheese, directly improves the physics of your fluid balance. And magnesium, deficient in most people over 60. It's involved in the smooth muscle tone of your lymph vessel walls. Pumpkin seeds, dark leafy greens, almonds, easy sources. Now the 15-minute routine that drains your ankles before bed. This is the core. Every single part matters. Pay attention. In the morning, before your feet hit the floor, while you're still lying in bed, do 30 ankle pumps. Point your toes down, flex them back up toward your face. 30 times. Takes 45 seconds. This restarts lymph flow after 8 hours of stillness and keeps the fluid from rushing down into your feet the second you stand up. During the day, every single hour you're sitting, do 20 calf pumps. Heels on the floor, lift your toes up and back down. Or if you can stand, go up on the balls of your feet and drop back down, 20 times. Takes 30 seconds. It keeps that conveyor belt moving all day so fluid doesn't get a chance to pile up. Set a timer if you have to. Before dinner, 5 minutes of slow walking. Not exercise, just movement. Around the block, around your house, around the yard. Walking activates the deep calf muscles in a way seated ankle pumps can't touch. Then, the critical piece. 90 minutes before bed, lie on the floor or on your bed. Put your legs straight up against a wall at about a 90-degree angle. Heels higher than your hips, hips higher than your heart. Stay there for 15 minutes. While you're up there, do slow ankle circles, 10 in each direction. Then alternating ankle flexes, 20 reps. Then, and this is important, put both hands flat on your belly and breathe deeply through your nose. Let your belly rise. Do this for 3 full minutes. Slow, deep belly breathing activates your thoracic duct, the main drainage channel of your entire lymph system. It sits right behind your diaphragm. Every deep breath is literally pumping your lymph fluid upward. After 15 minutes, slowly roll to your side, sit up, and do something simple but incredibly effective. Starting at your ankle, use the flat of your fingers and stroke the skin upward toward your knee. Slow, gentle, always toward your heart, never downward. 10 strokes on each leg. This is a simplified version of manual lymphatic drainage, and you are physically moving fluid from the tissue into the lymph capillaries. Right after this sequence, you will feel the need to urinate. You'll release 300 to 400 milliliters of pale urine. That's the fluid that otherwise would have woken you up at 2 in the morning. You just drained it while you were awake and in control. The woman I told you about earlier did this exact routine for 3 weeks. By the end of week 1, her sock marks were gone by morning. By the end of week 2, she wasn't waking up at night. By the end of week 3, her ankles at 9 in the evening were the size they used to be at 9 in the morning. Her heart hadn't changed, her prescriptions hadn't changed. What changed was her lymph system was finally getting the work shift it needed at a time that worked for her life, instead of scrambling all night while she tried to sleep. 5 things to do tonight. 1. Do the pit test right now. Know your grade. Write it down. 2. Cut one source of hidden sodium tomorrow. The biggest offender for most people is cheese, deli meat, or canned soup. Pick whichever one you eat most and replace it for 2 weeks. 3. Before dinner tonight, take a 5-minute walk. Not after dinner, before. 4. 90 minutes before bed, legs up the wall for 15 minutes. Deep belly breathing for 3 of those minutes. 10 upward strokes on each calf when you come down. 5. Tomorrow morning, 30 ankle pumps before your feet touch the floor. Do this for 2 weeks, then retest the pit test. You'll be startled by the change. One last thing before you go. I want to know 2 things. How old are you? Drop your age in the comments. The age of this audience genuinely shapes what I focus on next. And second, where are you watching from? City, state, country? I want to see how far this conversation is reaching because it helps me understand who needs this kind of information most. And if you know someone whose ankles swell every evening, someone who's been told it's their heart and handed a pill that didn't work, send them this video. You might give them the explanation nobody bothered to give them before. Your ankles aren't failing you. They're a drainage system that stopped getting the movement it needed to run. Give it 15 minutes a day, and the difference isn't subtle. It's the kind of change you see in the mirror, feel in your shoes, and notice the first morning you wake up without needing to press your thumb into your shin to check.